The economic freedom fighters are taking their march against load shedding and privatization to Eskom's headquarters in Sunninghill this morning. The Red Berets have voiced their concern over privatization of Eskom, claiming it's a ploy to deliberately sabotage the entity. Let's take you live now to the ground in Sandton, where we find our reporter Yitegani Magwedze, who's keeping a close eye on the story for us. Yitegani, of course, this is likely to cause quite a bit of disruption throughout the course of the morning. Music already on the go there behind you. Take us through what the situation is looking like currently.
Certainly, Ayanda, you know where the EFF goes to march, they literally paint the town or the city red. And as you can see behind me, they've already started arriving here. They started arriving here a bit earlier on. It is meant to begin officially at around 9 a.m. this morning, but members of the EFF and some members of the public in general started arriving here already at 6 a.m. this morning, which speaks to the resolve to march against Eskom today. We've also driven around on the route that the march is going to be taking place. We've seen a lot of EFF placards, and which is an emphasis to what the EFF is here for. So there is an expectation that there is going to be a lot of people who is going to be joining the EFF as well. It is deemed as the People's March against load shedding and the privatization of Eskom. So there is an expectation that it is not only going to be EFF members, but a whole lot more people who are going to join the people who have already arrived here, Ayanda.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's called the People's March, but take us through in a bit more detail about what the march is actually about. Load shedding appears to be at the center. What are they exactly calling for?
Certainly, according to them, it's a march against load shedding, the privatization of Eskom, and unbundling. And if you look closely, a lot of these things, or all of those things, were spoken to by the president in the State of the Nation's address. The president said that concerning load shedding, that it would be the reality for South Africa for the foreseeable future. This is, of course, because of load shedding continues to be a problem because of the power stations that have a history of a lack of maintenance, and the fact that the new power stations haven't been operating as they're supposed to. But a lot of people have seen this, or they've accused the government of intentionally sabotaging Eskom in introducing these load shedding and power cuts so that Eskom can be weakened. On top of that, there is an introduction by the president of the independent power producers. He said that in his State of the Nation's address, this would make sure that the demand on Eskom would be relieved, allowing it to do maintenance without the high demand that South Africa has on them. He also said that the municipalities that are in right standing with, that are in financially right standing would be able to secure their own power from independent power producers. A lot of people, including the EFF, have said that this is also going to be weakening Eskom and would shortcut the amount of revenue that Eskom would be able to make or has been making in recent years, and therefore would not be able to service their debt. And therefore, as a result of that, would be subject or would be victim to creditors, in essence saying that would result in Eskom becoming privatized. The last thing is, of course, the unbundling of Eskom, which the president has continued to speak to for a lot of times in the recent months. Rather, he's also said that the unbundling would make sure that there'd be restructuring and there'd be sufficient structure to take Eskom to the next couple of years and sustain it, and therefore sustain power to South Africa. All of these, the EFF says that they are meant to make sure that Eskom is weakened and therefore privatized, and that is why they're marching against it today. They're essentially saying that they're protecting the assets of the state.
Sure. I mean, of course, these are sentiments that exist sometimes even outside of the EFF, but are we expecting any of the party's top brass to be in attendance for this march?
Yeah, certainly we are. We're expecting the entire leadership of the EFF, including Julius Malema. It is going to be a pretty lengthy walk. It's about 11 kilometers. So everyone who is invited here, who is going to be honoring this march, has to be ready for that grueling 11 kilometers. But we do also expect other political parties, including the African Transformation, the ATM, the African Transformation Movement, who said that the resolve to march against the privatization of Eskom resonates with the policies that they have, saying that they don't want to see the assets of the state, including Eskom, privatized, because that would see the shedding of jobs, because according to them, the privatization of any organization sees that organization prioritize profits over development and over the development of the state and the country. So that is why they're marching. And there is a call by the EFF as well for people across the four corners of South Africa to join in on the march, even when where they are in other provinces as well, Ayanda. So there is an expectation that there is going to be a lot of people who are going to be joining here. Police are here. We are told that private companies around suburbs where the EFF and other people are going to be marching at are going to be in high alert as well.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for getting us into the picture. We'll certainly be touching base with you throughout the course of the morning as, of course, that march gains traction.